I think from now on, I'm going to review only colourful shoes. I'm not going to review plain white or plain black shoes anymore. Plain white and plain black shoes are just too boring. These are the Nano X2 versatile fitness shoe from Reebok. Yes, Reebok. Reebok are still out there doing their thing. These Reebok Nano X2s have come very highly recommended, so I thought I had to try them out. Stay where you are. So you may be looking at your options for a good all-rounder. A good cross-training shoe you can go running in, jump, squat, deadlift without any issues. Most likely you've thought about going for the safe and the most popular option, which is of course the Nike Metcons. They aren't a bad choice at all, and I wouldn't blame you, but I've heard a lot about these new Reebok Nano X2s being a pretty solid contender to the Nike Metcons, so of course I had to try them out. Let me say at this point too, I bought these with my own money and I haven't been paid by any third party to do this review. I'm going to try these out and work out in them just as I would normally because I want to see how well they perform. This colorway is called Cloud White, Hint Mint and Core Black. The color range on the Reebok Nano X2s is really unconventional, but I really like it. One could say they may be trying to emulate Nike's approach with color selection with these bold color combinations. The only problem is of course the best colors sell out pretty quickly. I was going to go for the Core Black, Atomic Pink and Acid combinations, quite a mouthful, or the Core Black, Acid Blue, but they didn't have those colors in my size, so I went for these ones. Now, when it comes to how they feel in my hand, the upper on these feels very soft. The upper is made from Reebok's FlexWeave knit material, which basically gives you the strength required for a shoe like this without compromising on other qualities you'd need from a workout shoe, like breathability, soft comfort. You could probably compare it to Nike's Flyknit material, but Nike currently aren't using Flyknit on any of their Metcon shoes. They're currently using a tougher plastic material, nowhere near as soft as these. Another thing that really stands out about these Reebok X2s is the flexibility on the front of the shoe. I recently reviewed the Nike Super Rep 3 and they had an innovative feature designed to enable the user to feel more freedom and flexibility in the toe area. This more flexible, softer feeling material in the forefoot of the Reebok Nano X2s, I imagine was integrated to address the same thing, to support you when you're doing moves that require high flexion of the toes or the foot, which overall adds to the comfort, which is always welcome of course. Another thing worth mentioning is that they have a feature called Rope Pro Outsole Teeth, which is there to help your foot grip ropes if rope climbing is something you do in your workout. The Metcons have this too and have done for some time, but personally I've never found them that useful. They never really grip the rope as well as I hope that they do. I look forward to seeing if this Rope Pro feature actually does make a difference. So without further ado, I'm going to go and try these out. What would they like to work out in? When I first tried them on, I will say the first thing I noticed was that they're very flat. Shoes of this type need to be. Don't buy these expecting there to be any kind of arch support because there really isn't. You'll be literally barking up the wrong tree here. You do feel a slight bit of cushioning with every step, but nothing over the top as if you're wearing shoes with an air bubble or a super cushioned pair of Hokas. In terms of whether they're springy or not, I wouldn't say that the Nano X2s are springy at all. They're not as stripped down and as close to the ground as say a pair of Chuck Taylors from Converse are, and they don't feel as chunky and soft as the current Nike Metcons felt when I first tried them. The Nano X2s feel somewhere in between. These have a slightly high 7mm heel to toe drop, which to me is interesting because they feel very flat when you're actually wearing them. For those that don't know, heel to toe drop represents the height from the heel to the front of the shoe. So if you feel like you're tipping over, then the shoe probably has a really high heel to toe drop. On the bottom of the sole, the hard rubber is the same hardness throughout. There's no softer sections on the sole. There is a small sort of window here in which you can see and feel the softer foam underneath. On the lateral side of the shoe, you have the hard rubber at the bottom there, then you have a bit of plastic here, and then you have slightly softer foam compartments in the forefoot and the back of the shoe. On the medial side, it's pretty much the same. You've got the hard plastic at the top there, and then you've got the soft foam compartments that you can feel here in the heel and at the forefoot. And then also you've got the part of the rubber sole that helps you if you're climbing rope here on the medial side of the shoe. Rope Pro is what the actual name of it is called. There's no significant hardness or heel cup that's been added to these shoes, but there is a slightly harder protruding plastic section of the sole, which I believe is to protect your heel from slams against the wall if you're doing things like handstand push-ups. The reason why it's better for a shoe like this to not have too much cushioning is because ideally you want the muscles in your feet and ankles to aid your stability, rather than being over dependent on things like arch supports and super heels. When it comes to stability, I do feel like this sole does a great job at stabilizing you in your your movements. When I was running and movements which required more balance due to putting all of my weight onto one foot, such as doing lunges or skipping while alternating feet, I did feel very stable. When it comes to squatting in the Nano X2s, I did feel as though my toes could fully splay out, which is a good thing. This really aids in my balance. I don't have wide feet personally, and these aren't advertised as wide fitting shoes, but these felt surprisingly more roomy than I imagined. This is a good thing for me because before every squat or deadlift I do, it's important that I splay out my toes to help me balance better and improve my connection to the floor. You just can't do that in shoes that are too narrow or too soft. So top marks to the Nano X2s for this. Deadlifting was much like the squats. The roominess was good, the connection to the floor was even better, and I felt very balanced in my movements. But there is that slight compression in the sole which would stop me from using these if I was pushing for a personal best. I have heard some reviewers saying that removing the insole on the X2s is a good idea for stability. I tried that and it didn't really make much difference. Both squatting and deadlifting in these felt fine with or without the sole. If you're looking at doing more serious lifting, I would recommend going for a more specialized shoe for your needs. These are very much more focused towards being an all-rounder. Overall, material comfort was great too. I would also say that the FlexWeave material makes a big difference in comfort. Moves requiring a lot of toe flexion felt really comfortable, like I was wearing socks. I actually think each brand should use their version of FlexWeave more in these types of all-rounder cross-training shoes. So you've got Nike with their Flyknit and then Adidas with their Primeknit. I think the material really brings something different or significant to the table in terms of flexibility and cooling. I'm going to give these a solid 4 out of 5. They're definitely an improvement on the previous Nanos, and the cushioning and comfort definitely impressed me. So are you going to go for the Reebok Nano X2s? Let me know in the comments below. So that was my review of the Reebok Nano X2s. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.